Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for a brand new mystery with Molly, and in today's video I'm actually going to be doing a collab. So today I'm going to be collaborating with another true crime creator called Brooke Makenna. If you don't know who she is, why not? Go and check out her channel. She's absolutely amazing at what she does. I think I've told her this before, but she honestly has one of the most relaxing voices I've ever heard in my entire life. She's so thorough in her research. She's so respectful when she's talking about these crimes, and she's just an amazing creator, like I said. We also filmed a video over on Brooke's channel, so if you want to check that out, I will leave her channel linked in the description and also in the iCard of this video. But today, me and Brooke are going to be talking about the case of Kate Bushell, and this case was actually requested to me through my request a case form by Ellie, so thank you so much to Ellie for requesting this case. If you guys didn't know, I have mentioned it in a few of my recent videos, but I now have a request a case form, so if there's a case that you would like to see me cover, please head to the link in the description and submit a case and I might just cover it. I just want to clarify that my intent with these videos is never to offend or upset anyone that may have been involved with the case. All of the information I have found on this video has been from several different sources online, so I do apologise if anything is incorrect, or if you think that I've missed something out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And having said all of that, let's just get into today's case. So Kate Bushell was a 14-year-old girl from Exwick in Exeter in Devon, which is in the southwest of England. Exwick is a small, quiet village in Exeter, and it was just a really nice place to live. Not the kind of place you would expect something like this to happen. Kate lived with her parents, Jerry and Suzanne Bushell, and also her older brother, Tim. Kate was described by her friends and family as a very bubbly, a very outgoing, a very friendly young girl. And Kate attended St. Thomas High School, and she was a very popular girl. She had a lot of friends.
I have really happy memories of Kate. She was a lovely girl, really friendly, really outgoing, very confident. We had some good times together. Our birthdays are a day apart, so we'd always spend our birthdays together doing things. She was a lovely friend.
The day of Kate's murder was just like any other day. It was Saturday, November 15th of 1997, and Kate went with her mother Susan to get a CD and a comic book for her brother Tim's birthday. However, this is a birthday that Kate would never see. She spent the majority of the day doing homework in her room for hours, and then when around 4:30 came around, she decided to go and walk her neighbor's dog. You see, they had allegedly been out of town, and Kate told them that she would walk their dog for them every day, and this dog was a Jack Russell named Gemma, and so that was what she was going to do. She told her parents she wouldn't be very long because it was November, and it did get dark pretty early, and it was already 4:30, so she said she would be no longer than 20 minutes on this walk. So Kate left her home on Berrater Lane and headed down Exwick Hill that led to Exwick Lane, which was a simple country walk through a field. This is where a ton of different dog walkers would go. It was a very popular place in the area and somewhere that Kate knew her way around pretty well. She had been there several different times. As mentioned before, Kate left her home at around 4:30, told her parents she'd be back in 20 minutes, except for 5 p.m. rolled around and she was still not back yet. Her parents were very annoyed that she was not home, but as each minute passed, their annoyance quickly turned into concern because this was not like Kate to just not be home and to cause them any sort of concern at all. So Jerry and Suzanne, who were Kate's parents, decided that maybe she just got held up, that she was talking to somebody, that she was running late. So they decided to walk around and kind of search the estate to see if they could find her anywhere on her way home. However, at 6:45 p.m., there was still no sign of her and she still had not come home. And so that is when they decided to call the police and report her missing.
So the police quickly began their search for Kate, and her father Jerry actually went with them and assisted them with the search, whilst her mother Suzanne decided to stay at home just in case Kate turned up. Police and Jerry started looking along the route that Kate would have taken with Gemma the dog along Exwick Lane, and it didn't take long before they found something. At 7:30 p.m. in a field just off of Exwick Lane, they discovered the body of 14-year-old Kate Bushell. And it was actually Kate's own father, Jerry, who initially discovered the body, and I just couldn't imagine how he must have suffered over the years, having found his own daughter's body in a field. Kate was found laid flat on her back, and her Reebok jogging pants / bottoms had been pulled down around her knees. Her long blonde hair had also been spread out, and her throat was also cut. So obviously the crime scene was cornered off by police and Kate's body was taken for an autopsy. Meanwhile, news about Kate's murder was starting to spread very quickly around the local area, and everyone was just in complete shock. Like I said at the start of the video, Exwick was a small, quiet village. Nothing like this had ever happened before, and so everyone just couldn't believe it. They couldn't wrap their heads around it. In Kate's autopsy, it revealed that her cause of death was from a single knife wound to the throat. Her throat had been slashed quite viciously. The killer had inserted the knife into the side of her neck and then ripped it outwards and across. I'm not completely sure if this part is true, but I read it on one source that Kate was attacked from behind, so the killer came up behind her and stabbed her in the neck. So Kate wouldn't have even had a chance to fight off her attacker because she wouldn't have seen him coming. The knife that was used to stab Kate was thought to have been a kitchen knife that was at least 6 inches long. However, this knife has never been found. And despite the fact that Kate's jogging bottoms or pants, whatever you call it, were pulled down around her knees, there was no evidence of sexual assault. However, because they had been pulled down, it does suggest a sexual element to this crime. So did the killer intend to sexually assault Kate but just either not get round to it, or maybe he was disturbed and so he had to run off?
More than 160 police officers were assigned to this case in 1997, and they went from house to house, covering almost 5,000 houses, talking to people and getting DNA evidence from all of them around the Exwick and Exeter area to make sure that if they found DNA at the crime scene, they could connect it to someone in the area pretty easily and that it was already finished. And they did say that they did find DNA at the crime scene. However, they never went into whether that was a fingerprint, whether that was blood, or what exactly it was that they had that they could possibly connect to someone. Obviously, like I said before, the DNA was taken from so many people in the area. However, no one has ever been connected to Kate's murder. But there was at the crime scene something strange that was found, and it was 100 orange clothing fibers, and these fibers were also found on a nearby country stile, which is like a step, and these fibers were not from anything Kate owned, anything from her home, or even anywhere around the crime scene. It seemed like on this step it was just placed there by someone, or it had fallen off. It wasn't naturally there, and so the police really believed that these were deposited by the killer. Now, police have done a huge amount of work on these fibers, trying to figure out where exactly they could have come from, as they are quite unusual, and it's found that they're bright orange azoic dyed material, which is predominantly in non-fluorescent workwear, and this is such as boiler suits, aprons, gloves.
So at this point, police began appealing for witnesses. They urged anyone who might have seen anything suspicious around the time of Kate's murder to come forward. And they did. Police were inundated with calls and tips and leads from the public with information regarding Kate's murder. One witness said that at 5:30 p.m. they saw a small dog coming out of the gateway in Exwick Lane at the base of the field where Kate's body was subsequently found. This dog was believed to have been Gemma, the Jack Russell that Kate was walking. However, there was no sign of Kate. Another witness came forward to say that they actually saw Kate whilst they were driving through Exwick Lane at around 4:50 p.m. The witness said that whilst they were driving through Exwick Lane, they actually saw Kate standing in a lay-by with the dog. And this sighting of Kate was believed to have been the last time that Kate was seen alive. However, this witness also remembered seeing something else along Exwick Lane. Once they had passed Kate, they actually saw a blue car in another lay-by fairly close to where Kate was standing with Gemma. This witness also described seeing a man with this blue car, and she described him as though he was kind of standing at the boot of this car, as though he was kind of looking into the boot or maybe getting something out of the boot. However, it's not entirely clear what type of car this was.
We know that Kate was in Exwick Lane because at 10 to 5, witnesses driving a car through Exwick Lane see her on the near side of the road, still with the dog, and as they continue towards Exwick, critically they see a blue vehicle parked on the other side of the road in close proximity to Kate, and at the rear of that vehicle is a white male.
Then just 5 minutes after the first witness saw Kate standing in the lay-by and then the man with the blue car, 2 other witnesses remembered driving through the same route on Exwick Lane. Even though it was only 5 minutes later, this couple said that they didn't see Kate and they also didn't see any man. However, they did see the blue car, but this time there was no man there. So the first witness that saw the man stood by the blue car described him as a white male aged between 30 to 40, of average build and height, clean shaven with dark collar length hair. And so police appealed to the public with this pretty vague description of this man in the hopes that someone might know who he is. Maybe the man would come forward and just say, oh no, that was me. I'm completely innocent. I was just doing this, but no one came forward. And so this man with the blue car started possibly looking like the killer. And so police decided to follow the lead of the blue car, hoping that they might be able to track it down. The police traced more than 2,000 cars. However, they were all ultimately eliminated from the inquiry, and the car was never found, and the man who was with the blue car has never been identified. 2 other witnesses who came forward to police recalled seeing a man running through a field from the direction of the murder scene between 5:10 p.m. and 5:40 p.m, just after Kate would have been killed. The witnesses said that this man was running very, very fast down the hill and almost kind of out of control before turning back into the estate. They also said that it didn't appear as though this man was wearing any like running gear, so it wasn't as if he was just out for a run. Also, the fact that this man was running away from the scene in the direction of the estate suggests that he must have known the area quite well, because he knew which way to go to get away the quickest. And police believe that Kate's killer must have been someone who lived in the local area, or at least had a connection to someone in the local area, because he seemed, like I said, to be able to get away really quickly. He knew where he was going. It's not been confirmed that the man who was seen with the blue car and the man that was running away from the scene are the same person. However, neither of those men have come forward, and so it's believed that they probably are the same person, and that person is Kate's killer. Like I said, police were appealing to the public about these 2 men that were seen. So if you were either of those men, or you were that man, why wouldn't you just come forward to police and explain to them why you're in Exwick Lane if you are innocent? So I read on one source that there are 3 suspects in this case. However, they were all questioned and they were all released without charge. So I don't know their names. I don't know why they were even suspects in the first place. But like I said, police questioned them and they thought they didn't have anything to do with it, so they were released. So why Kate? Why did the attacker decide to kill her? At the beginning of this investigation, police speculated that maybe this was a planned attack. Maybe someone had a grudge or something against Kate, and so they decided to stalk and kill her. However, as quickly as this theory was even mentioned, it was pretty much ruled out, because as far as anyone knew, Kate had no known enemies. She was a 14-year-old girl. She was happy, friendly, and her family and friends just couldn't think of anyone that would have wanted to do this to her. So for this reason, police believe that this was probably just an opportunistic and organised killer. He had his knife and he was waiting in Exwick Lane to just probably murder anyone. For what reason, we don't know.
Now, while I was reading through Molly's brilliant research, as she always does, I came up with kind of my thoughts on this case, and I just wanted to add them in here because that's what I love to do that on my channel, just to hopefully help in any theories that could come forward in the future. Kate was doing this for a family who had been going obviously on some sort of vacation, and she had been going with the dog every day, or that's what she was wanting to do. Now, I don't know if this is maybe the first day she was doing this or several days after, but if this was several days into it and she went to the same walking trail, possibly she had met someone on there and was going to meet them again for another walk where they then took advantage of her, or possibly somebody had seen her on this walk and had staked out this day she was murdered because he had been watching her and took advantage of her knowing she would be there. I think that it definitely has something to do with a routine, somebody watching her, somebody knowing where she could have been, if it wasn't someone just completely random.
Kate's killer today would probably be around 40 to 60 years old. I mean, that's if he's still alive. Kate's older brother Tim has worked with police a lot over the years, launching new appeals in the hope to one day get answers answers as to who killed his sister and why. However, despite hundreds of tips coming in, Kate's killer has never been found to this day, almost 22 years later. I'm going to leave some contact details in the description of this video just in case you think you might know anything about this case. It's a long shot, but I'm going to leave them down there anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this case. It's really sad that this case is still unsolved to this day, but hopefully one day we can get some answers for Kate's family. A huge thank you to Brooke for helping me out with this case and collabing with me. Like I said at the start of the video, we also filmed a video over on her channel, so make sure you check that one out. Before I go, I have a little bit of an announcement. So if you follow me on my Instagram, you've probably already heard this. I'll put it on screen if you want to follow it. Actually, I also posted it on my community tab the other day, so chances are a few of you already know about this, but basically myself, Joshua Miles, Kirsty Sky and Dark Curiosities have all started a true crime podcast called Crime Time. I say we've started it, we haven't actually posted the first episode yet, but the first episode is due to go live sometime around the start of September, so make sure you subscribe to the Crime Time podcast channel. I will link it in the description of this video. Being a part of a podcast wasn't ever something that I could see myself doing, but when my friends like approached me with the idea, I was just like, oh my god, yes, please can I be involved? So it's really exciting. So like I said, make sure you're subscribed to the Crime Time podcast channel. It's going to be really good. And that is everything that I have to say, I think. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe, because I am getting close to 10k. I hit 9k as I'm filming this yesterday. This is going live, it's currently Friday and this is going live Wednesday, so maybe I will have hit it by the time this goes up. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon for another mystery with Molly. Bye.